The Golden Rule, the official sponsor of the Eagle Nation Coaches Show, is located at 606 South Church Street in Georgetown, Texas. Eats, drinks, unmatched atmosphere. Above all else, goodwill, friendship, and kind regard.
more difficulties. Turn it down just a hair. It's beep through there. And so the Mighty Mite comes through. It's 1-0 at the point in the bottom of the sixth inning, and Talon Ball smashes a 2-2 pitch over the left field wall for a big 3-run home run to separate that out for the Eagles. Jackson Rainey then comes in to pinch hit. A beautiful RBI single for Jackson Rainey to put the fifth run across the board for the Eagles. And so a 5-0 win over what was the third-place team in district. Now they have moved down, tied for third and fourth with Elgin. But the Eagles stand alone in first place. I was talking with Coach Vierra, upset last night. Eastview alone in second place, lost to Pflugerville. So since Pflugerville, when we played them and swept them 2-0, they have upset Hendrickson one game out of the two, and then Eastview last night, and they're scheduled to play again tomorrow night. But we'll get into that discussion about, baseball occur this weekend with the weather. But your Eagles continue to perform in district after a tough non-district time frame. They come into district play, now sitting at 7-0 in district play, and a game tomorrow night is scheduled against the Hendrickson Hawks. But it just depends on how the weather treats us if we get to play tomorrow night at Hendrickson. So make sure you pay attention to social media. Coach Vierra will put that out as soon as he knows. I think we'll all know maybe midday, depending on the rain, what happens with that. But all the games moved to Thursday due to Good Friday and the Easter weekend. And so we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But more importantly, we get to discuss all things Eagle baseball tonight. A couple of guests with us, Devin Peterson and Jacob Faltasek will join us as well. And we'll talk to those young men here in just a little bit. A quick timeout, and when we come back, we'll have head coach Jordon Vierra join us live here on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show, live from the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street in Georgetown, Texas. We'll be right back.
The Golden Rule, the official sponsor of the Eagle Nation Coaches Show, is located at 606 South Church Street in Georgetown, Texas. Each drinks unmatched atmosphere. Above all else, goodwill, friendship, and kind regard.
Back here live at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, proud sponsors of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. And now head coach Jordon Vierra joins us. And coach, another district ball game under the belt, another win for this team, and timely hitting. One thing we'll talk to Jacob Faltasek about a little bit later is the importance of a run without a hit. Drawing that walk there back in the third inning, a couple of stolen bases, and then taking advantage of an error to score the first run. And the Eagles sit ahead of Hendrickson in the third inning, 1-0 with no hits on the board.
Right.
But then the bats kind of clicked on, and then Talon Ball again, the Mighty Mite goes to work, hitting another home run, his second in as many weeks, third of the season. But the timely hitting, it just seems to be paying off at the right time with some good pitching in district right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you go back into last night, Nolan John Dog gives us a phenomenal start. I mean, when that dude has his three pitches going, he's probably the best starter in the league as far as what we have available and what's available out there. And so he had his stuff last night. He was continuing to attack the strike zone, put the defense to work early and put the defense to work often. And so he was able to locate multiple pitches. There's goes, and like you were talking about, us being able to get on first base. You know, it goes back to the three things we constantly talk about: of being able to get on first base, being able to attack the strike zone, throw a bunch of strikes, and then lastly, be able to play solid defense. And we saw that last night. And we see the timely hitting late. We saw that we earned a couple of walks to get going. You have the fake bunt double steal to get runners there and be able to cash in the run and take advantage of a defensive miscue. And so that was our goal last night, is to try and get on first base and continue to create havoc. And I think we were able to see that last night.
Nola Jondo comes in and gets the win on 73 pitches, just 3 hits allowed on the evening, but did a great job of staying in the zone, forcing. And Hendrickson liked to swing at early counts. They went after the ball early, but the defense behind it, a clean sheet on the night, as we talked about, and an opportunity for this defense to be that support for the pitching staff. which seems to continue to pay dividends. We get out of the one mistake here and there.
Yeah.
Beautiful play there in the 7th inning, one out by Brady Peters, still in that base hit. That's going to appears to get through the 5-6 hole. Brady lays out, throws out the runner Rodriguez at first base for out number 2. Timely defense to just support an outing like that from Nolan Johndal that you want to see every time.
Right.
Keeps that bullpen fresh. They may be really fresh come the rain out if it happens, but an opportunity for those pitchers to not worry.
Right.
We talked about that a lot last year, and that run to state and winning that title. The defense supported these pitchers and allowed them to attack the strike zone and get the ball in play, knowing the defense was going to go to work.
Right. What we talked about after the game last night was very simple of, we've been talking about since the beginning of the season of all the pieces that we have in the clubhouse to win another state championship are all sitting right here. And I think last night was one of the first times throughout the course of the season where we put an entire game together. Where we played quality defense. We didn't make any unforced errors. Our pitching staff Nolan Johndal did a great job of throwing a ton of strikes and putting our defense to work. He wasn't trying to overthrow and trying to punch everybody out, but he was allowing defenders to be able to play defense, and the defense played quality defense. Then we were able to get to first base on the offensive side and be able to steal a couple of bags. We were able to execute a couple of situations with some timely hitting, like we said. We get the big spark from Talent Ball with the big shot, but then not to be overseen is the pinch hit off the bench with Jackson Rainey after that. So, a number of things came together last night that we've been kind of knocking on the door of trying to piece some things together. And last night was one of the first times, like I said, that we've been able to put a complete game together. And I think that if we can continue to keep putting things together like we did last night, that what we'll see is this group to continue to grow. And ultimately that's the goal, right, is to not just win district, but to win the first, second, third, fourth, sixth round, and ultimately dogpile at Del Diamond. And so last night for us as a coaching staff was really big to see that that the pieces are starting to click into place and they're starting to take the steps in the right direction of being able to do a lot of little things right.
One thing I noticed in the last two or three ball games, the starter seems to get in a groove for our opponents. But once we get base runners on, and this team likes to run 72, I believe it's 74 stolen bases on the year, but timely base stealing.
Yeah.
Now the attention has been drawn. Last night, Jaden Ball was pitching a great game into that 3rd inning. Jacob Faltasek draws that walk.
Yeah.
A couple of stolen bases, but his attention turned from strictly in the windup to the plate to now I've got runners and I've got to pay attention. And so then a costly throwing error by the catcher. We get that run in, and then it just seems to roll from there. He comes back, allows a couple of base hits there in the 4th inning, and then the Eagles get to him in the 6th, especially before they go to the bullpen in Leckler. How important is that for this team, just to, even if it's not even in a base hit or anything, but just getting on base to start drawing the attention of those pitchers to get them off their rhythm?
It's something that we started working on back in August, and it's something that we continue to work through is the ability to get to first base. Right, for us, we don't have a lot of guys that run the ball at the ballpark, contrary to what Talon Ball believes. So we don't have a lot of guys with just a bunch of pop. So we have to be able to execute situationally. And one of our goals every year is to steal as many bags as possible. So we work on that kind of thing in order to do that. And I think that these guys have really bought into the thought of being able to steal bags and being able to get to second base without having to get the hit. To get in scoring position as fast as possible and be able to continue that process. And what that does for us offensively is it not only divides the attention of the pitcher, right, because now he has to control the running game as well as execute pitches. It changes the thought process of the coaches calling the pitches because he doesn't like getting bags stolen on him either. And typically what you like to see to happen is we steal a couple bags, and now all of a sudden the opposing team goes, well, I want to throw a breaking ball in this situation, but I can't because if I throw a breaking ball, we got a really good chance of giving up the bag. I really want to throw a changeup in this situation, but I can't because it's going to put us in a situation where we're going to give up the bag. And so the pitcher as well as the guys calling pitches, they both have to start changing the way that they think about it. Pitchers like to speed up. They like to rush to home plate because they feel like they're going to give up the stolen bag, and now they're hit away. And so now what you start to see is that our hitters start to get more fastballs. Not only are they getting the fastballs, but they're getting elevated fastballs because guys are rushing. And you talk to any hitter out there, who doesn't like to hit an elevated fastball? And so I think that for us as an offense of us trying to touch home plate more than they do is not only to get to first base so that we can create the havoc on the bases, but it's to get to first base so that we can steal bags and so that we can get those fastballs that are elevated, and that allows our offense to continue to be better than it needs to be. So it's just one of those things where we're constantly trying to tack on, and you ultimately see the results of that in a situation where you make a catch or make an unforced error, and then you get an elevated fastball and it just get ran on. So it's something that has those unintended consequences, which is something that we're trying to constantly intend, right? We're constantly trying to make happen as far as our offense goes, and credit to our guys that being able to buy into that and then be able to not only just buy in but to be able to execute as well.
Does it also play into the defensive scheme for your opponent then, having to move players out of position, covering for a steal, covering a base runner at second base? Now it sort of opens those holes, it seems like, and now base hits start to get through a little bit more frequently, a little more quickly to allow things to start occurring for the offense.
Yeah, different guys start to cheat a little bit more when they realize that, hey, I got to cover this bag, I got to be able to get to this spot, and so it allows for that pressure to be able to intend. The other side too is like whenever you catch a defender that's split, that has his mind divided, and he's worrying about this, and he's worrying about that, and he's worried about this and the third. It divides his attention as well, and so he ends up being a little bit more jumpy and a little bit more excited about going somewhere. And so it's one of those things where it continues to have those extended consequences, and it's worked out well for our offense so far.
I asked you last night about it. You pull the trigger there on the pinch hit. Jackson Rainey comes in, an RBI single there. It puts the fifth run across, which that you hear people talk about it, especially in college baseball, that little insurance run. Now a grand slam doesn't beat you. How big is that in a call like that? It seems like if you could do that every game, this team might be 21-0 at this point. But how key is that for these kids to buy in that when you call that number, it's game time and they've got to be ready? No one, like last night, Jackson Rainey not in the ball game up until that point, steps in, base hit, fifth run comes across. How do you guys push that? How do you focus on that to make sure everyone's ready? We talked to Kyle Ropolo about that last week, talking to him.
Right.
He's the cheerleader, get him going in the dugout during the game, but when it's, hey, 14, hit the warm-up, let's go, get ready to go in, it's a mindset switch for him. How hard is it or how easy is it for you to keep these kids locked in no matter when they're ready to go?
So I think it comes down to a couple things for us is number one, we got to define roles, right? Of hey, here's where we see your role at right now. Now that role can change as the season progresses, but as of right now, here's what your role sits at. And so they're able to now not only just like not be divided as far as, I don't know where I fit and I feel like I should be this guy, but I'm not this guy, or I feel like I'm not this guy, but I am this guy. And so it kind of takes the questioning out of it a little bit, and then applies that position of, hey, like, this is your role, buy into your role, so that way we can have the success that we need to have. And I tell those guys at the very beginning when we have those individual meetings of, hey, man, like, I don't expect you to be super happy with this if they're not the starting guy, but I do expect you to continue to keep working it. And so Jackson's been one of those guys who's kind of been in and out a little bit. He's continued to string together some quality at bats over the past few weeks in our Wednesday inter squads and our BP sessions and things like that. And he got the chance last night and he capitalized on that moment. And so it's one of those things where we're constantly talking about, hey, whatever your situation is tonight, make sure that you execute your job to the best of your ability. If your job is to be the guy that gets the ball in the first inning and goes and attacks, then go be the guy that gets the ball in the first inning and go and attack. If it's to be the guy that's picking signs in the other dugout, then pick the signs the best you possibly can. If your job's to pat butts as guys are coming off the field, you better pat the butt the best you possibly can. And so it's just one of those things where we're constantly trying to, guys, make sure that you're staying involved in your role as much as possible, because as soon as we call on you, we need you to be involved. We don't need it to be something where hey, like you said, no, hey, 14, get hot, and he's going, I don't know where my glove is. I don't know what's going on. And so it's to constantly buy into the process of what we're constantly trying to do. And our guys have done a phenomenal job of that so far, right? We don't have any fuddy-duddies in the dugout of guys that are just sitting there worrying about their feelings. We don't have any guys that are overly worried about how they're producing or how they're not producing. And so it's been a quality team effort of our guys to be able to continue to say, like, if it's my job to get it done, I'm going to get the job done. If it's his job to get it done, we're going to trust that he gets it done and not necessarily worry about who gets the credit. A really good friend of mine a while back said, it's amazing what can happen when you don't worry about who gets the credit. And so it's something that we're constantly impressing upon is that the G gets the win. Wally doesn't get the win. right? But the individual doesn't get the win, but the G does. And so we're constantly implying that, and I think that our guys are continuing to buy into it, and we're kind of seeing that in some multiple situations.
And we see that from last year making an effect this year when you see a player like a Jacob Faltasek, a Nolan Jondal, a Kyle Ropolo. Numbers weren't called a lot or all the time last year as underclassmen,
right.
But now this year they've stepped into that role. Nolan Jondal, one of the key starters. Kyle Ropolo, one of those key players out of the bullpen to shut things down and doing a great job, along with Brady Peters now locking down at third base a lot. Jacob Faltasek out in right field in positions where these kids had roles last year, and now they're becoming the leaders and leaders on this team going, hey, trust the process. It worked last year. Look where it took us 16.2 miles away and a nice ring on the finger. But it also now to pass that down and that knowledge to a young team here with a lot of juniors and a lot of key positions filled by juniors. And we'll talk to one of them here in a minute, in Devin Peterson, that took in and had to jump into a role that was locked down by one of the seniors last year that was a leader on this team. And so an awesome opportunity for some of these kids to step into roles as juniors, but a lot of opportunities for some of these seniors to lead, having been in their position last year and finding opportunities to contribute, but now be a key component. Hendrickson, a good baseball team, quality baseball team. Nolan Jondal, a great job last night keeping them off balance. Only giving up 3 hits in 7 innings. Only walked 2, I believe it was. Yeah, only walked 2 on the night. And Nolan has been at games where he does strike many out. Last night, just getting in the zone, letting them attack, but this defense helping that out. What do we look for if we do, weather permitting, get to play Hendrickson tomorrow? Another senior lineup, heavy lineup against that we'll face in Hendrickson. Cameron Williams, a possible starter. What do we see out of Hendrickson in the next go-around?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a very similar ball club. We're probably going to see the left-hander Cameron Williams. Has 3 pitches for a strike, can run it up there to close to 99.2. He's pretty firm. He's thrown a ton of pitches so far in district play, and he's been up there innings-wise. I think that we're going to see a Hendrickson team that's not overly worried about what happened last time. They're a well-coached team. They're a very talented team, and so we're going to continue to have our work cut out for us whenever we get to queue up with them again, whether that be tomorrow night or whether that be Friday, Saturday, or Monday. I think that they're not a team that's gonna cower away by any stretch. But they are going to be a team that's going to come back and try and give you everything they can. And for our guys, it's continuing to stay involved in the process of whether that's going to be the guy that comes in and throws strikes from the jump, or if it's going to be the guy that leads off in the first inning. So, we're going to get their best effort. We talked about it before, and we continue to talk about it. It's not only do we have the G that's target, but we have that state championship title that's sitting on the back that makes that target even bigger. So we're going to get their best effort. They're not afraid. They ain't scared of what we can do, and I think that we're excited for the opportunity to continue to play quality baseball. Something that we were really excited about coming in this week is we get to queue up against a quality team and get after them. So we're really looking forward to it. Really, really excited about the chance to step back up there and get it again.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go to Devin Peterson first, the junior center fielder. We'll talk to him. And then when we come back after Devin and we talk to Jacob Faltasek, when we come up to close it out with you, we'll talk about the possibility of a rainout, what that looks like, and discuss that before we close it out. Thanks for joining us live here from the Golden Rule. We'll be right back with more of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show live on SHN. Back here live at the Golden Rule with number 17 on the Eagle roster, junior Devin Peterson, the center fielder, joins us tonight. Devin, thanks for coming in and sitting with us here tonight. You're in a role. Coach and I talked about this last night after the game. You're called on as a junior to step into the center field position, the leader of the outfield, replacing one of the leaders of the championship team last year in Andon Petty. What kind of pressure do you put on yourself, or is it, hey, I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to go out and do my job? What's it been like this year with Coach trusting you in that position there? One, in the leadoff position of the lineup. Two, out in center field running the outfield.
Center field's basically just been, outfield's just been my thing. I haven't really been worried about it. Just defense, my thing. Hitting, I just need to work on it a little bit more, but center field's been my jam.
How much fun are you having out there? You've got Andrew Nations typically on your right side over in left field, and you got Jacob Faltusek most nights on your left and right field. You guys seem to be doing a great job of communicating. Last year, that was one strength of that outfield. If Anna Petty wanted the ball, Anna Petty went and got the ball. Is that how it's running right now? Are you the leader that's looked to out there in this outfield and making those calls between everybody?
Yes, sir, I believe so. But I trust them out there. They're both here, so I trust them. I trust them to catch a fly ball. So,
how much fun is it, you guys coming out of non-district to start in a district, now go on a 7-game winning streak in district alone? How much fun are you having as a junior jumping into this team, into this role, now that this team is on a roll? How much fun is that for you?
It's been pretty fun. The tournaments were tough. We faced some good teams, which gave us a good advantage to come into district 7-0, which is pretty fun. So,
in district, we look here at the stats for the school. It looks like through 7 games, batting .375. One thing that sticks out: you've scored 9 runs, but walked 10 times in district play. Seem to have an eye to draw that walk, to see pitches, to make that pitcher work. What's your challenge at the plate? You talk about you made that statement of I need to work on my hitting. A .375 batting average through 7 games. I mean, pretty good. It's number 5 on the team through district. Sitting there, a lot of players would take .375 in a run like this. But how do you challenge yourself every game to be ready that when that bottom of the first at home comes up and Devin Peterson walks out there? What's the challenge for you to get things going for this team?
I don't know. I'm usually pretty big on my pitches, what to swing at, but I start to get in my head to get aggressive, cut the count, get before 0-2 before I get in the hole so I can get ahead.
Last night, a stolen base. Ended up getting stranded at third after that throwing error down the line. We're hoping to get another run in there. You guys get on the opportunity. How much do you look to run? How much fun do you have in the bases when you're looking over and get the signs from coach? Stolen bases through district. Let's see, at 8 of them so far. Technically, we calculated 9. One wasn't showing last night when you took off on the double still where Jacob stole third base. So 9 stolen bases. How much fun do you look for trying to read that pitcher and to get a jump on him to create some havoc on the base pass?
I mean, speed's my advantage, so I just use it to my best ability. So just try to get a best read as I can and take off.
Coming out of, you were saying, a tough tournament season you guys had. How did you personally stay focused and stay up and not get down on yourself or the team, knowing you played a lot of hard competition and rolling into district with an open mind and a ready mind to take on district opponents? How did you personally battle that to make sure you didn't get down on yourself or on the team so you guys could come out and do what you've done so far through 7?
I knew we'd eventually do it. We'd stick together and just play as a team, and I knew we'd grow together and end up being what we are now.
How much fun are you having? I mean, you don't have to say it if they're sitting here. I don't really care. It wouldn't. You just cover your ears, Jacob. No. How much fun do you have in the outfield with those 2 guys? You guys seem to be cementing that position out there, making the plays. How much fun are you having in this baseball season compared to what you've played before, now that you guys are playing this run and looking to continue it?
I have a blast. These games actually matter, so the pressure's on. So, I mean, play to your best ability.
Outside of baseball, what makes Devin Peterson tick? What do you enjoy?
Hunting.
Fishing. That's a good choice right there.
Yep.
See what time. Oh, we've got a couple months before we can get going again hunting. But yeah, until baseball's over before we get back out there. But any shout outs before I let you go tonight?
I'll do Jacob, Andrew, and Reese. Sir.
Devin Peterson, your center fielder, wears number 17, the junior here on the Eagle baseball team. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll take a timeout and we'll come back with our senior, Jacob Faltusek, here on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Back here live at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, sponsor of your Eagle Nation Coaches Show. The baseball show continues on, and senior Jacob Faltasek, one number in season of football. You'll wear him. He's wearing, what'd you wear in football? 8?
8.
It was 8. It's Brandon Stovall changed numbers on me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember all these numbers. Noah Boris changed numbers. Jacob Faltasek, one of the senior linebackers, starting linebackers for your Eagle football team, and now he sits out in right field, the starting right fielder, a senior on this baseball team. One of many multiple sport athletes here at Georgetown. We talk about that weekly. Talent Ball last week we talked to. You leave football, the bruises, the body being worn down from a football season that runs into the playoffs, 3 rounds, and a great senior year for you, and then jump on the baseball field. How much fun are you having now in baseball in your senior year, knowing graduation's the next thing on the schedule after baseball?
I'm having a blast, man. Couldn't ask to be with a better team, and, just everyone's bought into the process, and we're ready to win another state championship.
Coach and I were just talking about that. Last year, a role player. You did a lot of courtesy running either for Zachary Mazik or for the pitchers. This year, one of those seniors that's looked at as a leader now that comes in, played that role last year as a junior and underclassman. Now one of the seniors on this team that his name is in the lineup each and every night. And as a leader that's been through that process, that 16.2-mile trip last year and the beautiful dog pile that occurred at the end. How is that role for you this year, knowing that you've gone from that role player last year to now one of the leaders on this team?
I think it puts some pressure on you to be a leader, but everybody listens to you. You had the experience. They just listen to you.
The process this year, a rougher start than what happened last year. I just talked to Devin about it. How was that? You having been through this a couple of years here in the baseball program, and last year the way things went so well for that team. How did you try to help and for yourself keep things from being negative through the tough tournament season, knowing, hey, we're going to get this ship righted? How did you stay positive, and how did you lead through that with the rest of your senior team leads?
I think everybody knew that we played really good teams, and we took small wins away from some of the losses that we had. Whether it be we had good pitching or we had some good at bats here and there, we had good fielding, but we kept getting those small wins, and then eventually they added up to an actual win.
This run now, you guys are on 7-0 in district play. Looking forward to playing the Hawks again tomorrow night in Game 2 of that series. How much fun is this 7-game winning series? How much excitement's in that locker room and in the dugout each and every night? How much fun is this over what happened before district?
Oh, it's totally different now. Everybody's got their heads held high and high spirits, and it's so much more fun than losing all the time.
In this state, do you guys push each other harder and harder now to work harder, to get better, to continue to do things right and to succeed? Or is it, do you catch yourself trying to not to get into that just cruise mode and let things just sail along?
I think Coach V does a good job of making everything a competition every day, pushing each other as hard as we can to try and get better and better every day.
Last night, a big key, Coach and I talked about this in the stands after the ball game, and the lights were about to go down. A big at bat for you in the third inning. You sit there and you draw a 8-pitch walk. One, you started to get into Jordon ball, and you got him into that deep count, and then draw that walk. A couple of stolen bases. What's going through your mind? And in a bat like that, you get down and then you battle back a couple of foul balls, and then drawing that walk. What's going through your mind at that point? There's no hits on the board for Georgetown. You're the second base runner of the ball game. Now what's going through your mind to try to create, or yet try to just be a part of the puzzle to keep going to try to crack that scoreless game last night?
I'm just trying to do my job. If Coach wants me to steal, I'm going to steal. If he wants me to stay there, I'm going to stay there. I'm just trust the guy at the plate to do their job, and we'll just figure it out from there.
I'm trying to understand you football, baseball combos. I was talking to Brandon Stovall, Tyler Duncan running hurdles at the track team. Now, I get Drayden Dickman is fast. I get Marquise can jump. He plays basketball. Now he's a high jumper, winning medals at tournaments. But what is it with you defensive linemen and linebackers that aren't supposed to be these speed demons, and you come out here stealing bases last night? It was a huge deal last night. The first stolen base gets you into scoring position. Now the second one puts that pressure on Chamberlain, the catcher, sells it into left field. You score that first run. At that point, what's going through your head? Hey, we're on the board. Now let's just run with it. How does that process through knowing, hey, I got on board, I did my job. Now do we keep rolling? Do you lead from that point, or do y'all just collectively keep working?
Well, we just keep working. We that happened. We move on, and we just try and get the next guy to the first base and keep it rolling.
Trusting your speed, you guys running like crazy lately. Some of these district games have been fun to watch. You get those 2 stolen bases last night, pop up, all of a sudden the ball's in left field. What's going through your mind as, hey, I'm about to score a run? Excitement, focus. What goes through your mind in that situation?
I'm just thinking run. Coach B's yelling at me, go. So I got to go. I'm trying to score.
I got to bring it up because it happened. I believe it was the last game against Elgin on Friday night. We got hit by a pitch, and it was so funny because we're in the booth talking about the game going back and forth, and then all of a sudden, a linebacker for the football team likes to hit people. A lot of tackles on the year, and you get a nice pitch right in the middle of the upper, I guess in the shoulder area. I think is where it got you, between the shoulder blades, and then to see this kid just drop the bat and run down to first base. And I said, well, we know who was the linebacker for the Georgetown Eagle football team because he didn't even look. It's just like, all right, down to first. Well, right before we came on, you said, Coach said something about feelings. Hey, just put the bat down and run to first. No one cares about your feelings.
Yeah.
How big is that for you? Just are you locked in no matter what? Hey, I'm hit by the pitch. Time to go do my job on base then?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if it's a walk or you get hit by a pitch. Just drop your bat and run to first. You did your job. You got on first base.
Was there a mark?
I don't think so.
Did you rub it? That's the question.
I couldn't reach it.
So now, other things that make Jacob Faltasek tick. We were talking to Devin Peterson about it. You played football and had a great senior year. You in Lewis, I tell you what, the linebackers and the defensive line, you guys on defense surprised a lot of people. You had a good year. Having a good year in the baseball field now. This Eagle team above 500 again on this winning streak. How much fun are you having in this senior year?
Oh, it's a blast, College coming it's a bit nervous, but, I'm excited for it, and I'm just ready to keep winning.
What's the direction for Jacob Faltasek after graduation from Georgetown?
I'm going to go to Tarleton State.
Tarleton State.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good school here in the beautiful state of Texas. A lot of people in this area from Tarleton State. I just heard a rumor. Tell me something about Jacob Faltasek that maybe a lot of people don't know. And if you don't tell them, I'm going to tell them.
I'm an Eagle Scout.
That's a lot of work.
Yes, sir.
One, that's an honor. That's awesome. The commitment to go from to the process to get to that. How hard of a work was that? If you put that on you sit there. It's an achievement, and you ought to be very proud of that. And I'm glad I heard about that. That is so awesome. One of the dedication and commitment you made, one to the Boy Scouts of America, to yourself, and you put that up on the mantle. An Eagle Scout is an honor that no one can take from you. And you put that up there, and a senior football player that had a great senior year, and a senior baseball player that's having a great senior baseball year, and having a fun senior year. What kind of work was that comparative? You do all this work in the weight room and out on the practice field for these sports. Talk about that work in becoming an Eagle Scout and the dedication and the work you put into that.
Well, I started when I was in first grade, so I've been at it for about 12 years maybe. So, it was a long journey, but, it was worth it in the end.
When was it made official that you were awarded Eagle Scout?
Summer my sophomore year.
So, man, hey, what a job. But you can't say enough about that. I tell you what, that's impressive. So cool. Just to see a student athlete like yourself excelling in the classroom, multiple sports, so your time out on the field, but yet your time into your activities there to become an Eagle Scout, and that's something to be very proud of, and hang your head high on that. You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
I know I am, and I know these parents and family and friends and fans are as well. I got to talk to you in football. This may be the last time in baseball, but I don't know. We make another run. You're going to have to come back. The seniors get recognized. Any shout-outs before I let you get down from here?
Shout out my parents and shout out Ferda.
I tell you what, you talk about parents that you see everywhere all the time giving to this school through football, through baseball. It is none other than your parents, and I tell you what, they deserve a hand for everything they do, and it's just awesome. The Faltasek family, and there's another one coming up, correct? I thought I've seen different one. I think I saw one. I got to remember. I try to follow on Twitter and all the different pages, but another Faltasek out there is comparative. Is he going to be the athlete you are?
The only time will tell.
What a good answer. Jacob Faltasek, number 8, your senior right fielder for your Georgetown Eagles, joins us here live on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Thanks for joining us, Jacob. Enjoyed it. We'll take a short time out, come back with Coach Jordon Vierra. We'll wrap it up. You're listening to the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show live on SHN. .606 South Church Street, the Golden Rule, proud sponsors of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. We are so appreciative of them. Matt over there tonight taking care of us, getting us all set up. I tell you what, the staff here, second to none. And the Golden Rule, one of the best places you can order anything on the menu, and it's wonderful each and every time. I had to let Coach go there in a minute. I saw him eyeing the carne asada fries, and so
Can't step away. They're too good.
But now we bring you back. So things that could happen. We talked about the run that this team is on. I tell you what, talking to two of your outfielders that are having a phenomenal district run, playing some lockdown outfield, and nothing you could ask more of that and than what they're doing out there. I guess I'm going to go back before we talk about this. I didn't ask Devin about this play. The other night, he chased down that ball against Elgin, fires in a relay to Eli Hellman, fires that into Pernica for the play at home to cut down the first run of what would have been the first run of the ball game. Another run cut down at home by Brady Peters, snagging a ball at third base and throwing out the runner at home. How big are plays like that, and how does that build your confidence in a player like Devin Peterson, knowing even though he didn't get to a ball, there was no quit in it. It was a constant dedication to go grab it and then follow up with the throw to where it had to be, when it had to be there, to allow that defense to continue to be successful.
Right. I mean, the big thing for us is being able to see that those guys are able to stay within themselves. Right. A lot of times what you see with immature baseball players is immature players will not get to the play in time that they think that they should have made, and then they'll rush to feel like they got to be the hero and throw the guy out at the plate. And so to see guys like Devin in the situation that you're talking about, of not necessarily getting to the ball that he wanted to, but being able to take a step back and realize that there's still another play to be made and putting that ball on target for Eli to be able to make the relay. To plays like that are the situations where we talk about playing ping pong, right? You just got to keep the ball on the table. Right, and so plays like that, or plays like Brady, where you make the play and you just keep it on the table and keep the play alive, are the situations where we are able to take the mature approach to the game, and so that's been big for us. And you know, when you see guys making mature plays as the game progresses, that's where you start to feel trust in your guys. When you see guys that are just grabbing it and throwing grenades and hoping that they hit something, that's when you start to kind of take a step back and start to be like, oh, I don't know if we can be there. But to see how our younger guys, our junior guys have really stepped up and matured quickly, has been really fun to see.
Tomorrow, expected bad weather. We were discussing it before the show ever started. What's the outlook if the game were to be canceled? Is Friday an option, being Good Friday? Did UIL cut that out? Why we're all on Thursdays? If it's rained out, is there an option for Saturday? What does that all look like, barring a rainstorm tomorrow that we're kind of think we're all expecting? Right.
So the Good Friday was cut out because nobody has school on that Friday in our district, and so that was the reason why Good Friday was cut out. As a district, we decided that we weren't going to try and play on that day. With the UIL rule says that you have to play on the next available date, and so for us that would be Friday. And then if we can't play on Friday, then it's Saturday. And if you can't play on Saturday, then it kicks over to Monday. So That's the way that the UIL rule reads. So we'll kind of see what happens, how it plays out. I mean, there's some other stipulations in there that you can look at and decide on how that kind of shakes out. But as of right now, it's if we don't get to play tomorrow, we're going to try and play again on Friday. If for some reason we still can't play on Friday, then we'll try and kick to Saturday. And then if we have to play on Monday, then we'll play on Monday. I think for us and our staff is talking with our coaching staff and looking at our pitching staff. If for some reason we do get kicked to Monday, we're not super worried about it. We know that we got 3 quality starters to throw those 3 district games that week. We go Monday, Tuesday, Friday. We got a stable full of ponies to be able to roll out our bullpen and be able to bridge those guys as we need to, and be able to continue to be competitive and attack the strike zone as necessary. And so for us, we're not super worried about having to go Monday, Tuesday, Friday. If it happens, it happens. Not necessarily ideal. But also something that we're not overly concerned about.
What is the rule UIL-wise on games in a week? 3 the max that you can play if that were to happen, or is that?
So the rule is 1 game during a week is the way that it reads, unless weather forces that to change.
Okay.
So what we were possibly looking at was trying to take tomorrow's game and push it to today. UIL won't allow that because that's 2 games inside of a calendar week. That's why we get away with playing Tuesday, Friday, because we can play 1 game on Tuesday, which is during the school week, and then we get away with playing on Friday because it's after the school day ends on that Friday. The only time there's exceptions for that is tournament season, which is why you're allowed to play the 2 Thursday, 2 Friday, and then the 2 again Saturday. That's the only time that really changes. So when you're looking at just regular tournament or regular schedule, it has to be 1 game a week unless it's forced to happen because of the weather.
So tomorrow, where do we recommend people to follow with? You'll be the first one, obviously, with knowledge of that, of the game, if and when. I mean, we're looking at a high of, I think, 59 tomorrow with 90% chance rain. I don't think it's going to go around Pflugerville and Hendrickson High, but where do we guide people to go look, social media, for any rainout updates to follow that so we can all get that out there?
Yeah, so we'll be in a couple spots at EFND_baseball on Twitter, at Vierra4 on Twitter. I'm sure I'll post it out there for those that are inside the program, Sports U. We'll be posting stuff on there to get that information out as fast as possible. And then obviously our Facebook group or Instagram, all of our social medias, which we'll try and get that out as fast as we possibly can on all those sites. So as soon as we know something, we'll go. Know that right now as we're looking at weather, they're calling for 1.5 inches of rain tomorrow, upwards of 2 inches in some places, and another 0.5 inch on Friday. So we'll see what happens. We're going to make sure that our guys are ready to rock and roll for tomorrow. If for some reason the good Lord decides to keep the rain away and let us get it in tomorrow, we'll get that happen. Otherwise, we'll be ready to rock and roll on Friday or Saturday or Monday whenever we get the opportunity to get back out there.
So tonight, I'll get that link provided and tweeted out tonight for tomorrow in preparation that a miracle occurs at Hendrickson High School. Covers their field and no rain occurs and we can play. But other than that, we'll watch for the updates from you and EFND_baseball.
I think that's right. Is that right?
Everyone looks at Miss Baltasek.
That's right. Andrew Nation said it's right, so it's got to be right.
So, I'm sure
Twitter Lord.
You guys will do a good job of retweeting what Coach puts out for all your fans that are following you. Talking about a stable, I got to make light of it and kind of pick your brain about it because we talk about there's no real big power hitters on this team. How do you keep a talent ball at bay now? 2 big bombs there, but 2 timely home runs to help this Eagle team. How do you keep him focused? I don't think he has a hard time in that. We talked about his excellence on the wrestling mat this past year and how well he's performing at the plate here in district and at second base. How do you rein in the little guy?
Swing hard in case you hit it, young man. Just stay out of the way and let the dude play. At this point, you try not to say too much. I think what they say is that good coaches know when to say something and really good coaches know when to shut up. And so we're just trying to shut up and stay out of the way and let the dude stay hot when he needs to stay hot and stay out of the way. When a good thing's rolling, you don't stay. You just make sure his butt gets on the bus on time and get where it's supposed to go.
The Georgetown Eagles sit atop District 23 standing 7-0 in district play. Eastview right behind at 5-2 now after a loss last night to Pflugerville. And then a jam up there with 4-2 teams at Elgin and Hendrickson. And then 4-3 teams with Elgin and Henderson, and then a couple of 3-4 teams and then Conley below. And so an opportunity for this Eagle team to continue just to take care of business themselves. What's the challenge in that for you and Coach Payne and Coach Durrell and Coach Cockrell? So get those out there, make sure I got them right this week. Is that right? Okay. To keep these kids focused on this ride that you guys are on. A 7-game winning streak is fun. How do you keep it from getting out of control, that the fun takes over and the work doesn't get put in?
Yeah, we just constantly talk about the next step in the process. It's like what Jacob was talking about, right? We got guys that are bought into the process. We're not overly worried about the results. The results are cool, but the results that we're seeing right now aren't the ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is obviously you got to get out of district. Then you got to win the first round, second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, and then once you win that last game, then you get to dogpile, and then the job's complete. So our guys have a really good understanding of that. If you haven't seen our dugout, our guys are really loose. Our guys enjoy being around each other. They enjoy playing the game together. If you show up on a Wednesday and a inter-squad day like today and you hear the chirping that's going on, you hear the laughs, and you hear what's going on, these guys obviously enjoy each other. They enjoy competing with each other. At times they really enjoy getting after each other. So getting these guys to stay locked in hasn't been that much of a challenge. It's just understanding that day after day after day, those days stack up into weeks, and those weeks stack up into months, and then ultimately a couple months from now, we're hopefully dogpiling Del Diamond. And so we just got to keep stacking one good day on top of another one, and realizing that each rep that we have on the way is ultimately what's getting us there and getting us where we want to go.
From this point on, we should be back on Thursday nights here for the Coaches Show at the Golden Rule. No more Thursday games due to this week with the scheduling, but it could be a busy week next week. We'll all stay tuned to what you put out to let us know what's going on with the schedule. But join us out here on Thursday night, 6:45 at the Golden Rule, proud sponsors of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Love visiting with Coach Vierra, love talking Eagle baseball, and maybe one week we'll get Kelly and Dave out here all together. Between all of our schedules. But
I don't know if everybody can handle the Holy Triumvirate.
It would be difficult, I tell you. But I tell you what, for a lot of you guys that don't know and some that do, our thoughts and prayers, my thoughts and prayers go out to my two teammates. Kelly Duvall recently lost his father, James Duvall, and his brother is in hospice now. And so thoughts and prayers go out to Kelly. His world has just been just rocked. Here in the last couple of weeks, and with his mom and caring for her. And so for Kelly, I miss him, but I know he's in a tough spot right now. So remember Kelly Duvall, one of our partners, and then Dave England just lost his sister last week.
Right.
And we went to the funeral on Friday with Dave and with his family. And so just I tell you what, we're blessed to be able to do what we do and hang out here and enjoy some great food, enjoy conversing about baseball, nothing else. But maybe one week we'll get them all out here. You guys will be in for a show if we can get all three of us out here together with Coach Vierra. But thanks for joining us here tonight, live from the Golden Rule. Matt, you want to come up and talk for the Golden Rule? No, you're good.
Mikey,
you want to talk on the – no, you're good?
So Mikey's the man. Mikey and I go back to like 2000, Reds, GYBA, ballers back in the day.
And he takes care of us.
And Mike takes care of us up here. He's the man. I appreciate you, Mikey. Love you, dude. Thanks for having us here and taking care of us.
So we'll be back next week, Thursday night, 6:45 start at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street. Come join us each and every Thursday night. We talk all things Eagle baseball. Next week, a couple of different players. I think it's been leaked out, maybe a Brady Peters sighting, and we'll see where we go from there to talk more Eagle baseball. Thanks for joining us tonight live at the Golden Rule. Coach, I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Wally. Appreciate you.
Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow on the baseball diamond. If not, the next time we meet will be for another district ball game. Thanks for joining us live here on SHN. Signing off for tonight from the Golden Rule. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Have a good night, everyone.
The Golden Rule, the official sponsor of the Eagle Nation Coaches Show, is located at 606 South Church Street in Georgetown, Texas. Eats, drinks, unmatched atmosphere. Above all else, goodwill, friendship, and kind regard.